लग रहे एकदम हीटी। Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajacharya Stotar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajacharya Stotar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ना all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiti Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 31, entitled The Movement of the Living Entities, and verse number 7. Katotrikshanos lavana ruksham lambhira ulnabhi matra bhukter upaspreshta sarvangatoti vedana Katotikshanos lavana ruksham lambhir ulabhini ulbhani matra bhuktir upaspreshta sarvangatoti vedana. Katotikshanos lavana ruksham lambhir ulabhini matra bhuktir upaspreshta sarvangotita vedana.
Katutikshnoshna lavana ruksham labhi ulbane
ruksham lambhi ulbane matra bhuktir upaspreshta
sarvangotita vedana. Katutikshnoshna lavana
It is Katostikshansna lavana rukshalambhir ulbane matra bhaktir upaspreshta sarvangotita vedana. Word to word meaning: Katu, bitter; Tikshana, pungent; Usna, hot; Lavana, salty; Ruksha, dry, Amala, Sor, Adibhi, and so on. Ulbani, excessive. Matra Bhukte, by the force eaten by the mother. Upasprishta, affected. Sarvanga, all over the body. Uttishta, Uttita, arisen. Vedana, pain. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Owing to the mother's eating bitter, pungent foodstuff or food which is too salty or too sour, the body of the child incessantly suffers pain which are almost intolerable. Purport. All descriptions of the child's bodily situation in the womb of the mother are beyond our conception. It is very difficult to remain in such a position, but still the child has to remain. Because his consciousness is not very developed, the child can tolerate it. Otherwise, he will die. That is the benediction of Maya, who endows the suffering body with the qualification for tolerating such terrible tortures. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshunu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamischa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamischa Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shuta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna. So I welcome Sitaram Prabhu back to Brooklyn Temple. Hari Bol. So we welcome all of you for Srimad Bhagavatam class today morning. I seek the blessings and prayers of all the devotees who have assembled here, so that I can speak something for my purification of the heart and glorify something from this Srimad Bhagavatam and render this service of speaking Krishna Katha. So whatever I speak, let it come from whatever I've heard from my previous Acharya, Srila Prabhupada and spiritual masters. So I will seek your blessings so that I can speak Hare Krishna. So we have been discussing about the suffering the living entity goes when he is conceived in the womb of a mother. And as here in the purport, Prabhupada is telling it's inconceivable for us, for a living entity to understand how much pain it is there, All descriptions of child bodily situation in the womb of the mother are beyond our conception. We just cannot understand how much pain that living entity is going through. A living entity, we understand, that we cannot stay. During the COVID time, we were staying in one house or one room. When someone got infected, there was a room given separately, and we were asked to stay. And it was very difficult for us to stay in a single room with like moving facility, sleeping facility, and others. But now we understand what is happening to this living entity. He's just packed. He's staying in the womb. The size of the womb is also not big, and it's just not like there's so much description which is coming ahead actually, that the child cannot move here and there also, and it's been packed with so much different liquids. The child has been packed with mucus, bile, and different liquids in the stomach. And then every time there's so many living entities, insects, which are biting him, and he just cannot express the pain to anyone, and he's suffering like anything. We cannot imagine also how much suffering there is there in the womb when the living entity is present in the womb. So it's very very tough for us to conceive also the pain what the living entity is going through. That's why it is told, janma mrityu jara vyadhi. Why this is a suffering actually, why it is so much pain. Krishna is telling that this is pain actually, this is the real pain. Janma is pain. Sometimes people ask, that's over, once I come out of the womb, there is no more suffering, because birth is not considered as suffering. But here we understand, when we read this chapter of Bhagavatam, we understand how much pain the living entity is going through. And we don't want that, other living entities also, we don't want ourselves to face with the same pain what has been going on. That's why it is told that, one should come out of this cycle of birth and death. One should try his level best, try somehow to come out of this cycle of birth and death. Or else this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Chakravyu is the one which is again and again covering the living entity. So this is the one point that it's very very difficult for us to conceive the pain what the living entity is going through, in the womb. And then the second point, Prabhupada is telling that because his consciousness is not very developed, the child can tolerate it, otherwise he will die. This is the benediction of Maya. So Maya has got two energies, that is called Avarmatmika Shakti, that is covering, and Prakshamatmika Shakti, that is punishing. So whenever material energy wants to punish a living entity, what he does is he covers the living entity and then gives punishment. Just like a person who has been caught sometimes, or I remember we all used to play this sometimes in colleges, in the rooms. We want to beat a friend, and then we cover it with a blanket and everyone punches him, so that he will not understand from where he is getting beating or who is beating him. So that is what material nature does, energy. Maya does the same thing, He covers the living entity with the false ego and then punishes the living entity. So that's why the living entity is suffering so much actually, means this is the energy of Maya, that it's been suffering like this. So this is one thing, that material energy punishes the living entity by covering the living entity with the false ego and then punishing the living entity. One time I was reading this, I was hearing one talk by a devotee, and in that he was telling that sometimes the living entity doesn't experience so much pain, so there is no punishment. So he was giving an example that the pain is nothing but just like a football has been kicked. What happens to the football, when it is there in the field? It's getting kicked by all 22 people who are there around. And the ball feels so happy, if you understand the consciousness of the ball feels so happy when it is in the air, that no one is kicking me around. That is the happiness what a living entity has. As soon as the ball lands, there is some person to hit the ball again. So that is what the material energy is there. It's been kicking and kicking each and every living entity. And we want to find happiness here, but the happiness is just the amount of happiness the ball is in the air. The football is in the air, that much happiness a living entity gets. So this has been the example what he was giving. It was like, this is what material energy does actually. That he covers the living entity and then punishes the living entity. Now here, when we read the translation, there is very beautiful description of owing to mother's eating, bitter, pungent foodstuff or food which is too salty or too sour, the body of the child incessantly suffers the pain. So here the theme, I wanted to take this theme of eating. We see how eating is such an important thing what each and every living entity do for living. So, what type of food stuff we eat, depending on that, our consciousness is there. Like last week, I was preparing this for the preaching program on Saturday. I was preparing the menu, and then one of the items, I happened to add more of black pepper and red chili in that thing, and the food became too spicy. And few devotees who happened to take that thing, it was like, for them it was burning everything. As soon as you put something in the mouth, they took like few bites of that preparation and it started burning everything, not just the mouth. And when the food goes through the this food pipeline and the stomach and everything, it was burning for everything. And in fact, few devotees had trouble in the morning next day. So what we eat, we suffer accordingly. But now we understand the mother is eating anything. If the mother is eating anything, when she is carrying the child, it's very very difficult for the child. So that's why I have seen my mother, when my sister was carrying a child, how much care was given to the sister actually. She was given proper food, separate food was prepared for her, offered, and then given to her. There was not a single thing which was spicy made during those 7-8 months. And it is a austerity for them to eat like that. Though they want to eat something here and there, spicy things, others, but they know that the child will suffer. So they were given like proper nutrition diet actually, and because that nourishes the child. So same way, whatever we eat will nourish us. There is this verse also in Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, where food, this is the same thing. Food that are too bitter, too salty, hot, pungent, dry, are nothing but the food which is in the mode of passion. And whoever takes that food, they are into distress and misery and are diseased eventually when they take it. So when we take food which is too bitter, too salty, too hot, pungent, or burn, or it's like these things causes misery, this thing causes distress, and this thing causes disease. So these three are coming the way we take the food. I remember one time, in Pune, when we were making one of the preparation, it's called misal pav. I don't know how many of you had it, but it's like Maharashtrian special item, and it's too spicy. It's like, as soon as you eat, there is smoke coming out from all your holes. It's like that, literally like that. If we have tasted that thing, we will not understand. So one time we wanted to offer this to all our devotees in ashram. So the devotee who came to make it, I was there personally when I was serving in kitchen. So I could personally see the amount of the red chilies powder he was adding to the preparation. It was like so horrifying for me, but still I thought it's like, because it goes with other ingredients, it will be very tasty. So he made that thing, and eventually when devotees sat to eat that thing, few devotees could not eat it, but few who were like determined to taste the misal pav, first time they were having. And it was like the hype which was made by devotees that it's very tasty, this is how it should be. And then devotees had it, but when I had it, was like so tough, I just could not complete what was there in the plate. It was very very hot, and later, as I was telling, it caused so much suffering actually to many devotees. So when we eat food which is not proper, then it has so much of misery actually, and so much it causes distress to the mind. When our stomach is good, when we take the proper food, then our stomach is good, we can do lot of service for the Lord actually. Or else things go like, if one thing is wrong, then many of the things get affected. Like this verse in CC comes, Vishaira an khaila malin hoila man, malin hoila man, malin man hoila nahi Krishna rasmaran. So whenever one eats food offered by materialistic men, one mind become contaminated, and when the mind is contaminated, one is unable to think of Krishna properly. So whatever food we eat, whoever is preparing the food, it's like so very important that the consciousness of that person is been carried in the food, and it affects the consciousness like anything. So that's why Prabhupada has recommended that we don't eat anything outside here and there, because we don't know with what consciousness that food is being prepared. It's highly recommended that we prepare, we take the food which has been prepared by the devotees for chanting 16 rounds regularly, and we take that food because that has a potency. Krishna carries that potency while cooking. And then, that prasad, when we take it, it affects our consciousness to remember Krishna very nicely. Or else when we eat anything, then, we see that the mind has not the power to think of Krishna. Because we eat here and there, then, mind get affected like anything. So the tongue has direct connection with our consciousness, because whatever we eat affects our consciousness like anything. We see so many examples, like, when we go to South India, travel in South India, there's so many Brahmanas who cook by themselves, still today, who cook by themselves whatever preparations they want to do it, they offer it to their Shaligram Shila, and they take that prasad. So they don't want to take prasad which is cooked by outside people also. So most of the time they either take prasad by their own hands, or they take it from the hands of a Brahmana. So that is the strict policy what they follow in their lives, because they understand whatever food they are taking has been contaminated. If it is contaminated by other people, then it becomes very, very difficult for them to remember and render service to the Lord. So it's very important. We see so many examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We see the example of the Brahmana. When Jagannath Mishra was there in Navdeep, and one day a Brahmana was visiting. So, and Jagannath Mishra wanted to offer something to the Brahmana. So he told, I have brought all the ingredients, please come and cook. And that's the Brahmana told, I am happy with the roots and fruits, whatever you give me. And it was late in the evening. But then, he requested the Brahmana that please come and cook. And then he was himself was cooking. So we understand the principle that the Brahmana was cooking by himself and was preparing his food. And he was offering it to the Gopal deity. And then we know that pastime where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and steals as soon as the offering is happening. And he tells, hi, what is this? Lord Chaitanya is eating before my Gopal has come and eaten this thing. And then he again prepared the offering. And this time, on the request of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata and all the other devotees, second time also he prepares the offering. And second time again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and steals away the offering. And that time it's like the Brahmana is given up that, he doesn't want to cook again. But then, who comes? Vishwambar comes. And he requests the Lord, he requests the Brahmana that please cook. So, and he cooks and then that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells that I am the same Gopal to whom you are offering. And, he's so very happy to eat the rice that he is all over his body. And everyone is asleep during that time. So in this pastime we see, the principle is, I wanted to bring it in focus was, that, whatever prasad we eat, it has been by the law, cooked by his own hands. The Brahmana is cooking by his own hands. In fact, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling to Vrindavan, there was this Sanodhiya Brahman. He also came forward to offer food to the Lord. In fact, he told the Lord that I can come and bring you the preparations, but you can prepare it by your hands and take it, because he was considered little lower in the Brahman caste during that time, and it was not proper for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat it any house. So during that time also, but in this pastime of Sanvandiya Brahman, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells that how can I not come and take a prasadam from cooked by your hands? Because Madhavan the Puri has taken prasadam cooked by your hands. So I am ready, willing to accept whatever you have cooked, because you have served my spiritual master, my great, my Ishwar Puri's spiritual master. So how can I not accept it? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts prasad at the Sanodhiya Brahman's house also. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Varanasi, it was he was staying at the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya, but he was going and accepting prasad at the house of which Brahmana? Anyone remembers? Which Brahmana? Varanasi. There is very beautiful pastime. He is one of the fathers of our 6 Goswamis. Come on, this is CC. Tapan Mishra. Tapan Mishra was the one, whom he met in Bangladesh, and requested him that you should go and reside in Varanasi. But still, he wanted to come and accompany Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navdeep. But then he was given this instruction that you go to Varanasi and be there. So he went there, he studied, and then he was residing there. But then, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Varanasi, it was at the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. He was staying at the house. But every day, for the time he stayed at Varanasi, it was at the house of Tapan Mishra that he went and took honored prasad. So we understand how much Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had valued to eat from the right from a person whose consciousness is very pure. So, because it helps us to remember Krishna more and more. Now we are here, trying to serve Radha Govinda. So we want to eat prasad, which has been cooked by devotees. Not eat any here and there anything. So this should be our practice actually. That whatever we eat, whatever we put on the tongue has two things to do. That is to vibrate and to taste. So for vibrations to be proper, the taste should be proper. But the taste should be proper in the sense the food, whatever we put on the tongue, should be made proper by the consciousness of the devotee who is cooking. Should be very, very proper. So it's highly recommended that we take prasadam cooked by devotees, not take anything. Every time we get something, we should always see who is cooking, or we should ask this thing, that from where it is coming, because it's very important. It affects our consciousness like anything. So this was what I was thinking. I'll speak on this verse. And today is also a very special day. Today is the appearance of Janava Devi and Sita Devi. So I thought I'll speak something on these two great personalities. Janava Devi is the consort of Nityananda Prabhu. So we'll hear how they got married, and then how Janava Devi actually went and inaugurated the festival of Keturi. And she was one of the greatest Acharya after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu had disappeared. She was the one who brought the bhakti back. She was the one who could bind all the devotees and bring the bhakti cult back in the West Bengal because of her intense practice and pure devotional service. So, one second. So, Janva Devi is the daughter of Vasudha, and Janva Devi are the daughters of Surya Das Sarakela. This is the devotee who has been one of the brothers of Gauridas Pandit, and he is one of the very intimate disciples of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Very intimate. Gauridas Pandit is a very intimate associate of Nityananda Prabhu, and Surya Das Sarakela was one of the brothers of Gauridas Pandit. And Surya Das had two daughters named Janva and Vasudha, and we know that past time that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas in Katwa, and after taking sannyas, when they were traveling, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a lonely place instructed Lord Nityananda Prabhu that he should go to Bengal and preach, and he should preach and deliver all the sinful persons, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas, and as a sannyasi he cannot go and preach to people who are very, very fallen into a places like a prostitute in brothels, or in drunken places. But a grahastha can go and do that thing. So he instructed Nityananda Prabhu that for that thing he should get married, and he should deliver all the fallen souls who are there in the West Bengal. So because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, Nityananda Prabhu went to West Bengal after getting sannyas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had travelled to Jagannath Puri, and after settling in Jagannath Puri, Nityananda Prabhu went back to started his Harinam Sankirtan, and with his devotees, he went to Bengal. And during his visit to Bengal, Nityananda Prabhu got married to one day, this Surya Das, he got a dream that his daughters had come to the age of marriage, and at one of the days he got a dream that he saw the dream of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, in his full beautiful dress of blue color, wearing blue color dhoti with all ornaments, and he was dancing in a great ecstasy. And during that dream, he saw that two of his daughter were sitting beside the jewel, beside the Vyasasan with Nityanand Prabhu Janva and Vasudha were sitting beside. And then eventually after that, in the dream, it was that he saw that Lord Nityanand Prabhu had changed into Balram, and and who was sitting beside his Revati and who is one more Revati and there is one more consort of Janvi. No, not Janvi. Vasudha. Two wives of Lord Balramji. Who is that? Got transfer. One second. I am not getting the other name. Revati was one of the consort, and Varuni was the one. So Varuni was Vasudha. The incarnation of Varuni was Rohini. No, Varuni is also one of the daughters of this thing. Varuni. Yeah. And Janva is Revati. So these two consorts were present with Balramji. So he could understand from this dream that that these two daughters will get married eventually to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So when Nityananda Prabhu was visiting in Suryadas Sarakela, he went and he approached Narhari Thakur and then requested that he brings this proposal to Nityananda Prabhu, that these two daughters get married to Nityananda Prabhu. And when Nityananda Prabhu heard about this marriage proposal, it was like he accepted the proposal, since it was instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. And during that thing, the king who was residing in that place was Krishnadas. And Krishnadas was the one who organized, who told this marriage will not be a marriage of two poor people, but I'll give everything, whatever I have, whatever is there, the wealth, the land, everything will be used in this marriage. And then the marriage was very, very elaborately, celebrated actually, and it was very beautifully arranged, and everyone was dancing and chanting, and everything was used in Lord's service. And then these Janva Devi and Vasudha got married to Nityananda Prabhu. And see, we can understand here Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Ananga Manjari, and she's the younger sister of Srimati Radharani, and whereas Janvi and Vasudha also is Revati and this Varuni. So they are the one who were directly coming in, associating with each other. So it was like this is like the same pastimes of Braja actually taking place actually. So they all settled in a place called Kharda, and Kharda still has got a very beautiful deity. Today also we go to the place, there is very beautiful deity of Nityananda Prabhu with Janvi and Vasudha actually. And there were two sons which were born to Vasudha. There was Veerabhadra and Ganga Devi. These were the sons, Veerabhadra and Ganga Devi. Veerabhadra was the incarnation of Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and Ganga Devi was the incarnation of Mother Ganges. So these were the personalities who were born to Nityananda Prabhu from Vasudha. But somehow Janvi did not had any son, and she was like assisting Lord Nityananda Prabhu in whatever household activities, and was assisting in preaching to the many of the devotees. And after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left this world at the age of 48, after that many of the associates started leaving this world, and during that time there was like everyone was feeling quite vacant in their life because of the separation from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And many other associates, Advaita Acharya had left, Srivas Thakur had left, so many of the great associates had left the world actually. So during that period, it was Janva Devi who was very much respected, and she was the one who was leading all the Vaishnavas, and she was the one, she was reviving the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world, all over West Bengal during that time. And she, this, you know, Ganga Devi and Veerabhadra, they asked initiation from none other than their own mother. So once they got initiated, it was like uh, they got initiated, and Vasudha, Janva Devi also adopted one child, Ramchandra, and these three children were preaching like anything during that time, during the time of Janva Devi. And we understand, we hear this pastime also of Narottam Das Thakur. He was celebrating this first Gaur Purnima festival. And when he received the 6 deities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with 6 deities of Radha Krishna deities from the farm of the merchant, where all the snakes were residing. So he went and rescued those deities and brought them back. And for inaugurating of this festival, he wanted to do an abhishek of the deities and celebrate this thing. So during that time, it was, he sent the invitation to all the Vaishnavas who were present. And one of the main invitation was sent to Janva Devi. And on the pretext of Janva Devi only, so many other Vaishnavas were traveling to Keturi to attend this festival of Narottam Das Thakur. And Narottam Das Thakur, when he started this inviting all the devotees, it was like Srimati Janva Devi had come, Shamanand Pandit, Srivas Thakur, others, though were there, they were coming. Vrindavan Das Thakur was also there during this visit. So many had come to visit this festival. Achyutananda from Shantipur had come, and Sachi Mata, on the travel, Janva Devi met Sachi Mata during her travel, and it was she came here, and then this festival was very, very wonderfully celebrated actually. When she came here, it was like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself had manifested when the kirtan started, and it was like very beautiful when Narhari Sarkar was leading the kirtan during the festival. And during that time, the kirtan was in such a wonderful way, it was organized that initially it was like 1 kartal, 2 kartals, 3 kartals, and eventually the kirtan was increasing with with super with very proper way. And then at one time Narottam Das Thakur himself started singing the kirtan, and during that period it was like it was Krishna Prem Sankirtan actually. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, he manifested in that kirtan with all his associates. Nityanand Prabhu had come, Advaita Acharya had come, and Srivas Thakur, so many Haridas Thakur, all those who have left this world, they reappeared during the kirtan, and everyone was in great ecstasy seeing that this Harinam Sankirtan was happening. So this was at Keturi, and so many of the devotees will again feel that they got their lives, and this kirtan went for hours and hours. And after few time, at one point, and when everyone was dancing, then they realized that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left, and it was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, all the associates who had come, they had left. And it was like such a painful sight. Initially it was such a great joy, they are meeting Lord Nityanand Prabhu, and now they are like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu. Now that all of them had left, it was like such a great separation of what had happened. So this is what is there, separation and union, is there in the life of a devotees. And everyone fell unconscious after some time. And Janva Devi, after some time she got up and she rose everyone from that unconscious state. And eventually there was prasadam distributed in that festival. And then next day, Janva Devi herself led the cooking. And she was the one, she was making lot of preparations for all the devotees. And eventually when it ended, devotees came and requested that you should come and honor prasad, because she was the leader in one way of the entire community, entire festival what was leading. But then she told that I'll be honoring prasadam later. And she was the one who was serving prasad to each and every devotee, personally by her own hands. And then at the end, when everyone had taken prasad, she sat and she took the prasad actually. So it was like, this is what is the culture there, Vaishnava culture, that one leads by his example. We don't understand how much important Janva Devi had played this role during that time. because devotees had gone into such a separation, such a remorseful state of their living because they lost Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But now she was bringing them back, to life just by her presence and by this thing. And after this, Janva Devi wanted to travel to Vrindavan, Braj. And I'll speak a few things about that, just a couple of things, and then we'll stop. When she was traveling to Braja, there was like, at one place, uh, she saw at one place, it was like, this is one thing which is very wonderful, that there were a lot of devotees who were worshipping Chandi Devi. And that village, few devotees could understand the importance of Janva Devi, and they were chanting with her, praising her. But other people were criticizing her for her, who is this lady who is chanting in the streets, chanting Hare Krishna, and everyone was like offending her. All the devotees of Chandi Devi, they were offending this great consort of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And at the end, when end of the night, when everyone was asleep, Mother Chandi Devi herself came in the dream of every person who was cursing. And then she was so angry that she took the sword and was about to slaughter their necks actually. But then she told, if tomorrow morning you don't go and surrender yourself to the lotus feet of Janva Devi, she's my worshipable object. And how can you offend who are trying to worship me, can offend her? And then eventually all the devotees of Chandi Devi, they next day morning, as soon as they got up, they went and surrendered to Janva Devi actually. So, and then after that, she delivered the complete village actually by giving them initiations and giving them Krishna Prema actually. So this was the power of Janva Devi. Wherever she traveled, she could bring so many devotees back to the life actually. And when she went to Vrindavan also, there were devotees who were feeling so much pain actually at their heart because of separation from some of the Goswamis who have left the world. And she was the one who brought back life back in the Vraja by her presence, by going around and giving them Krishna Prema actually. So this was about Janva Devi. So let us pray today to her, to bestow her blessings. Without her blessings, it's not possible to approach Nityananda Prabhu. And without Nityananda Prabhu's blessing, it's not possible for us to approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then we want to have Krishna Prem, Radha Krishna Prem. But without their blessings, we cannot have Radha Krishna Prem. So we should always seek blessings of great devotees like Janva Devi, so that they bestow their blessings upon us, and we are able to somehow progress a little bit back in our spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Oh, you wanted to add something, please. Generally, that's why this issue is there with all the cooks actually who come and cook in different restaurants or in kitchens actually. So especially when we see in India, we have like a lot of cooks whom we start telling them, as before we take them in for the services, we tell them that our condition is following this 4 regulative principle and at least chanting few rounds actually. At least they start chanting, few rounds, and eventually we want that all the devotees who are cooking, they get to the standard of chanting 16 rounds. Now it's little practical, a little impractical for us to come to this standard that a Brahman only should cook, and whatever we take from the Brahman for cooked should be from the Brahmana hand. But then, for serving outside, at least we offer it to the Lord and we give it to the outside people at least. By that way, it becomes purified. Or else people are eating anything here. It is like, people just, you go out and see, people don't have vegetarian food to eat also. We might be a first restaurant here in, I think, 1 mile or 2 mile or maybe that, which is offering vegetarian food. So at least whatever we are cooking, we offer it to the Lord, and that becomes like great mercy for them to take that thing. And somehow we have devotees who are cooking for the restaurant here. So in case if we have the situation where we cannot come to that standard, at least we try our level best that we play the Prabhupada Kirtan, or we play the Kirtan when the cooking is happening. Because when the sound vibration goes while cooking also, whatever sound vibration goes, that also affects the consciousness. Yes. No, we can offer it to a photo or to something and then give it to for the in the restaurant. That is the best thing we can do it. At least not come and offer it to the Radha Govinda directly here, but we can offer it to the picture of Radha Govinda and then give it as prasad, rather than just offering in the mind or doing like that. But rather than offering properly by keeping this photo of Radha Govinda and giving, then that becomes the prasad, and then we serve it to the people outside and they take prasad. That increases their spiritual benefit. And that how they can come to Krishna consciousness eventually. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai. There's no switching off this mic. Srila Prabhupada ki, I told all this.